Hello and welcome to Sparkling Diamonds with Brittany and Robin. This is Robin and this is Suicide Awareness Week 2 for the month of September. And so today what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the prizes, and I will show you at the end all the names I entered and spin the wheel and who won, and that will be inserted at the end. And what are you going to win, you may ask, because that is something I haven't been talking about, because each week I'm making like a pack for a giveaway. So this week I have this pen holder from Fantasy Sparkles, and by the way, these prizes are all things that I purchased that I'm putting together in a kit. They are not anything that was donated by a small shop. They're all things that I have in my own stash that I am and Brittany's stash that I'm choosing to give away. And so we have this buttercream wax, which I do not know where this came from. It was a small shop. So I have that you will be getting as well. And then we tried to do the a theme of roses, because that I'm giving away. Maybe I should have said that to begin with. A diamond painting of a rose. I do not know where this diamond painting came from. I think it was Amazon, but it's a picture of a rose that is just very pretty. It's 30 by 40 centimeters, and it may have even been Etsy. I do not know. It's not even been opened, so I'm sending that. And so we thought rose theme, so the pink wax, the pen holder from Fantasy Sparkles, I just threw that in there. And then from Black Dahlia, this putty, and we're going to do putty from Black Dahlia. This one is Loveberry Crush. And then also from Black Dahlia, I'll be sending the Oz and Odd 2025 pen that we have. And then Brittany got several of these lily pads that she did a video on how to use from Tracy's DP World. I will also be sending that in their prize pack. And the last thing will be from Bee's Crafty Corner, is the rose release paper to go with the rose diamond painting. And so my guess is all this, if you purchase it together, it would be around $100. I know that the pen holder is about 40 to 50. The diamond painting was probably 20, and then the putty, you can guess the putty things are probably $4.95 or so. So yeah, so all that I'll be sending out this week, and then next week I'll be making a video again. It'll be like on a Monday or Tuesday when the video is posted. You have to make a post by Saturday at midnight that is with a positive quote, and as long as you show some progress, I don't care how much progress. I'm not doing any kind of requirement for the progress. Then your picture with a positive quote, and you'll be entered to win next week's prize kit. So I thought the video today, I thought really long and hard. By the way, I want to say thank you to the people who left the comments and the people who did write that how much the video meant to them on the first week of suicide awareness. I greatly appreciate that more than you'll ever know, because I really am doing this to hopefully help somebody who, and maybe you're the person that needs to hear this today. So today I thought I would talk about something that's caring without carrying. Healthy empathy and self-care in suicide awareness. So I thank you all for being here during Suicide Awareness Week. This is such an important time for us not only to raise awareness about suicide, but to talk about how we care for ourselves while we care for others. And I do have some notes jotted down that I'm going to be looking at from time to time. But I want to talk about a word that we often hear in our society. We often hear the word empath. Somebody will say, I'm an empath. People who naturally absorb other people's emotions. And they say that as if it's a badge of honor, or it is something that they feel good about. And while empathy is a beautiful quality, when it goes unchecked, it can actually become unhealthy. Even Carl Jung, one of the most influential psychologists, who was a student of Freud of the 20th century, warned that absorbing too much of another person's emotions could be dangerous. And that's what we're going to unpack together today, is when too much empathy can be harmful. And what Jung taught us about boundaries, and most importantly, practical tools that you can use for self-care while supporting others who may be struggling, including those who might be experiencing suicidal thoughts. So let's start with what Carl Jung, he talked about empathy. If you don't know who Carl Jung is, you learn about Freud and Jung in psychology, like 101 in high school, just the basics. And then in my schooling, we go way in depth with Freud and Jung's teachings and psychology and what it means for our inner work and like our shadow work, and how our thoughts reflect on other people and our behaviors and that kind of thing. And Carl Jung never used the model label empath, but he spoke about something very similar. He noticed that some people have such porous emotional boundaries that they lose track of where they end and then other people begin. And what Jung saw was several dangers in this. One, a loss of boundaries. So when you absorb other people's emotions constantly, you blur the line between what's mine and what's theirs. And that weakens your own sense of self. Two was emotional cognition. Contagiousness of emotions, maybe I should say. Jung described how emotions are contagious. And when we carry too much of somebody else's despair or anger, it can weigh us down and create what he called psychic poisoning. And then 3, inflation and over-responsibility. Jung also warned about identifying too strongly with the role of healer or rescuer. And that makes us feel responsible for fixing others at the expense of ourselves. And in the therapy world, people who do therapy, you'll often hear that they have a lot of their own issues because they do get in this role of healer or rescuer, and they don't take care of their own personal needs because they're so busy taking care of other people, they're not taking care of themselves. And 4, blocked individualization. So Jung's central idea was individualization, the journey of becoming whole and uniquely yourself. If you're living inside other people's feelings, you can't fully live your own. So Jung's message was, empathy is good, but too much empathy without boundaries is dangerous. And why this matters for suicide awareness, and if you're not connecting the two together, supporting someone in a suicidal crisis is one of the most compassionate things a person can do. But it's also incredibly heavy. If you're someone who naturally absorbs emotions, you might start to carry their pain as if it were your own. And here's the problem. When we take on too much, we risk burnout, compassion fatigue, and even hopelessness ourselves. And that means we can't show up consistently for people who need us. Think about it this way. You can walk beside someone in their darkest moment, but you don't have to climb into the darkness with them. And that distinction between being present versus being consumed is what makes your support sustainable. And that is why self-care during suicide awareness is not selfish, it's necessary. If you collapse under the weight of other people's pain, you cannot keep showing up. And then the third part of this is just practical self-care tools. Like, I want to share 4 self-care tools that can help you practice empathy with healthy boundaries. Tool 1, grounding and separation practice. When you notice yourself carrying someone else's emotions, pause and ask, what's mine and what's theirs? That is a very simple exercise to do. What's mine and what's ours? And another thing you can do is a simple grounding exercise. Place your feet flat on the floor. Take a few slow breaths. And imagine releasing what doesn't belong to you into the ground. And that's important, like getting a sense of grounding, having both feet on the floor. Using your senses. Remember, I've said this over and over again: touch, taste, smell, hear, see, feel. I think I said that one. But it's okay to say, I care about you deeply and I want to keep supporting you, but I also need to rest so I can show up tomorrow. Boundaries are not rejections, they're sustainability. And it's important for us to recognize that. Then another tool is releasing techniques that we can use. Journaling is a big one. Write down feelings that feel foreign to us and then rip up the page. Creative outlets for us are art, music, diamond painting, anything that lets the body and mind release what you absorbed. I often talk about, imagine balloons being blowing up and then floating away up in the air with all the bad thoughts that you have been carrying around with you. Also, physical movement. I talk about diet, sleep, exercise, physical movement. Shake it out. Stretch, walk it out. Physical movement can help release some of that. And then I always add the 4th, right? Remember, community support, those kind of things. Remember, you're not to carry this alone. So no crisis resources like the suicide and the crisis line, like 988 in the U.S. 988 is a number that you can call yourself, or you can give to someone who is in a crisis to call. Encourage professional help and lean on your own support. So while you're encouraging that person to get professional help, then you also lean on your friends, your colleagues, and your own therapist. And I think that is one of the biggest mistakes that we make. And one of a psychologist told me early on is everybody can use therapy. And I think that's true. Even if you think I don't have any problems, nothing's wrong with me, I think at times, like, even if it's every 3 months, checking in with somebody, venting, just having somebody to sit down and release that pent up emotion with, that is very helpful. And supportive friend, if you have that kind of friend or colleague that you can trust or lean on, that is also very helpful. So as I wrap this up, I want to leave you with a reflection. Think about the one area of your life right now where you might be carrying more than you can hold. Whose feelings are you holding that aren't actually yours? And if you'd like to write that down on a piece of paper, and then as a symbolic release, tear it up or set it aside, that's you choosing to care without caring. You know, in this job I have to do that all the time. My heart, it can be, I can feel very sad or very empathetic for somebody. But at the end of the day, when I'm done and I choose to go home, I cannot carry that home. And I actually encourage my patients. I say there's only so much you're going to get in a session with me. The most you're going to get is between the session. You got to go do your own work. You got to go do the own exercises that you learn in your therapy. You got to go practice those things. There's only so much medication and therapy can do. And so realizing what you can bear and what you can't bear, that's really important. And so symbolically releasing these pent-up emotions, that is really important. Holding on to what actually isn't yours, it's only going to bog you down. Think about the airplane, and when the mask comes down, you got to put it on yourself before you can help other people. Think about this in the same way. You got to be there for yourself before you can be there for other people. And that's why I say everybody should be in some kind of therapy. Young believe that individualization, becoming your true self, requires protecting your own wholeness. And the truth is, you can't save anyone by losing yourself. But you can save lives by showing up consistently, compassionately, and with healthy boundaries. So let's close with an affirmation. I can stand with others in their pain while honoring my own wholeness. So I can stand with others in their pain while honoring my own wholeness. And I think that is very important. We're going to insert the winner. So we had 47 entries. I'm going to show you the names here. And then I'm going to shuffle. How do I shuffle?
Scroll back up now all the way. And then there you go. See shuffle.
Okay. We'll shuffle through them a few times. And then we're going to click the wheel to spin and see who wins this week's prizes. Are you ready? The winner is Michelle Peckett. So congratulations, Michelle. I'll be getting this out this week to you. And again, congratulations, Michelle. So leave a comment down below if you found this helpful. Do you find yourself, have you been said to people, I'm an empath, and have you ever thought about like an empath, like the burden and the toll that can take on you before hearing this today, when you're always taking on somebody's also emotions and carrying that with you, and how hard and difficult it is for you to care for yourself if you keep taking on other people's emotions, especially negative emotions. Thank you so much for joining me in this session. Please remember, if you or someone you know is struggling with suicidal thoughts, you're not alone in the U.S. You can dial 988 to reach the Suicide and Crisis Line, which is available 24/7. And please know help does exist. Healing is possible. Find your own therapist. Reach out to them. And I'm going to be doing more and more mental health content and less like diamond painting and unboxing content. You'll still see me doing that because that is what I do to release my stress, but I'm gonna not as much because my work has been very busy lately, and part of my boundary has been accepting that, you know, to give 100% at my job, it means stepping back from some of the videos I've been doing with Brittany, and I appreciate your patience as I have been doing that. So I've just been very, very busy at work, and I am trying to practice what I preach, because I cannot be healthy for my patients if I am constantly working 8 to 6 a day and coming home and making videos and doing unboxings and worrying about, do we have content together to go out? So I encourage you to take care of your own self, and leave a comment below, like, what are you doing to take care of your own self? I really do appreciate the comments, and I really do appreciate hearing the feedback that you get, like, this helped you, like, you needed to hear this. Like, that means a lot. So thank you so much for watching and supporting Brittany and I along our YouTube journey. And I will see you next week in week 3 for the month of September for suicide awareness. Thanks so much. Don't forget to be kind to everybody in the real world, in social media, and in the comment section. Bye-bye.